Welcome, friends. Today we're going to go through the Malak event, both light side and dark side. So we'll take you kind of through the event mechanics as well as the modding for each of the characters. Honestly, I did these with pretty garbage mods overall. In fact, this Bastila and this Jolie Bindo is about 40 speed more than I used my first time doing this. And I did use a Gear 12 Jedi Knight Revan, but it did take me like 40 tries. Jolie Bindo's Zetas not necessary. Zalbar, Bastila, Mission, all of their Zetas aren't necessary. The only two Zetas that are basically very, very helpful for this. I wouldn't say necessary, but very, very helpful. This one I think is necessary. The leadership ability, you need it Zeted. Hero, you could do it with or without. When I finally was able to do it was when I had this. And so I would highly suggest having this Zeta on Hero. The final Zeta you don't actually need though. So just those two Zetas. This is the team that I used. They're at Gear 12. Obviously my Jedi Knight Revan's at Relic 5 at this point. As I said, anything in the Relic levels will work. And if you have really, really good mods, Gear 12 will work. And these are the really good mods that I have for him. This is the same mods that I used way back when. There's a little bit additional speed on them because I've upgraded them since then. I'm using them for other characters. But using an offense set, because he is basically the damage dealer on this, is really great. And then I just use the health set as my second set. I do suggest offense for this if you can pull it off. This is just what I use, so I'm going to show you it with this, but, you know, getting some more offense here is great. Don't suggest crit damage, obviously, because we're not trying to deal crit damage. We're only going to be dealing just regular attacks, and I'll explain why in a little bit later. So, get some solid offense, some solid health mods. The bare minimum you need for speed for Jedi Knight Revan, I know I have a lot of speed on this guy right now, just because, you know, I want to show what Gear 12, what I used to beat this. But 261 is the bare minimum speed to take first turn before Malak. I don't know if that's going to be like, if you're under that, it's going to kill you. I would assume not, because this is not one that you really need to, you know, take first turn. But you do need some solid speed on all of the people if you really want to do this under geared. I didn't have a lot of speed on a lot of my side characters, and it definitely made it tougher, but back then I didn't have a lot of good mods, and maybe you don't either. But get good offense set basically for Jedi Knight Revan, and if you can do that, you can balance that a lot. The second person I'd make fast if you can is Zalbar. Surprisingly, Zalbar needs to take as many turns as possible. He's kind of the key to the light side. So this is what I'm using for him. He does need to critically hit. This is wild, and we will explain later, but I do have a crit chance set, and then full health sets for the rest, just to keep him alive. So you can, you know, see here, you do want a crit chance triangle as well, if you can get one. But yeah. You can see his speed is not fantastic for this. I would suggest getting it higher just to guarantee your win so you're not playing the RNG as much. Whoops. Let's take a look at Bastila. You know, extra 90 speed. Nothing too crazy. I'm not asking for anything special on these characters, except for Zalbar and Jedi Knight Revan. The rest can be whatever the freak you want, honestly. Got a lot of health on Jolie just because he's a healer, so you always put health on a healer. Fairly easy. So Jedi Knight Revan and Zalbar are the only two you want. Crit chance on Zalbar, and you want Jedi Knight Revan to have a butt ton of offense. Not crit damage, offense. So we'll hop right in, and I'm going to explain the mechanics. The mechanics luckily are the same between the first and the second tier, so shouldn't be too bad to explain. So basically how this works, there's so much in this tier, but we'll break it down for you. So Malak is given an extra ability, so he's immune to ability block, death mark, fear, shock, stagger, stun, and any effect that those produce. And then anytime Revan hits him, he gains a stack of Malak's hatred. And then when Malak attacks him with Malak's hatred, it basically deals more effects and hurts you. And so you want to avoid hitting Malak with Revan for as long as you can, because it'll stack up and end up hurting you. Additionally, the rage mechanic, the enraged mechanic from other like raids and that kind of thing, is in this. And so if he hits 30 stacks of rage, you're basically screwed. So you want to balance the stacks of rage. And so don't hit him with Revan, balance the stacks of rage. So you can check these guys right here. If you defeat him, he loses 3 dark rage. Same with each of these guys. Important thing, if you're hitting Malak, if he gets close to 50% health, he will use Drain Life on these Jedi on the side. He doesn't have access to Drain Life until until he becomes under 50%. Then he'll drain one of these guys on the side, and then when he runs out of them, he'll start draining from your allies. So, important little side thing. But each of these guys will reduce, as well as each of these will reduce. If you kill these guys, they can be targeted. Then he cannot suck them up. So you've got to balance his stacks with destroying these. And there's also a little important trick with this, because Malak taunts whenever he's hit in this event, as well as whenever you critically hit Malak in general, he does fear the person. This one right here, if he sucks it up, he'll get critical hit immunity for the rest of the encounter, which means you can no longer get fear on your guys, which is great. The problem is we need to critically hit him a couple times, and we will go into that in just a moment. So to start off, we're going to just start working on these side droids. Don't use the mass swarm. I'll explain in a sec, but don't use the mass swarm. Just start working on these side droids. The first set are always rougher to hurt, but then he summons more as time goes on, and with each successive set after the first ones, they're all weaker. So just getting through this first set is kind of the hard part, and then after that, it's super, super easy. Okay, so the first set is gone on that side. Now we're just going to have to do the other side. Never use Mission's second ability until a specific point, and that's if Malak's taunting, because it makes it so that way you don't hit him, so you don't get counterattacks, and so it just basically makes it so fear gets taken out of everything. It's just helpful to have as a panic button, so don't use it, and just keep going. Okay, so here's the important part. Zalbar has Armor Shred. So he gains taunt for 3 turns, and then on a critical hit, he inflicts Armor Shred on the target. So we have to target Malak. So if we'd used the Mass Swarm and hadn't killed off that guy, we would be stuck behind that guy until we could finish him, and then Zalbar would be able to Armor Shred. But we want him to Armor Shred as often as possible, so we want him to have this first turn to Armor Shred. Important distinction, this is inflict Armor Shred on target if he critically hits anyone. So it doesn't actually have to be Malak that we crit on. If he crits on anyone he's hitting, he'll inflict the target with Armor Shred. And so there we got an Armor Shred, and so now there's our first Armor Shred. He responded, took a turn already, so taunt is gone, which is good. We are going to completely ignore any AoEs on these teams, because if we use AoEs, we'll get him taunting, and then we'll be stuck behind him. So we'll basically just use single fire damage and try our best to get through these side droids. You can see here he no longer has any Dark Rage because we're doing a good job with this. So we're going to start working on these side guys while we're waiting for droids. Droids are back, and we just start working through them again, because we want to make sure we keep those Dark Rage low. So this is unfortunate. He did taunt, because every time he uses that lunge attack, he will taunt. And we just kind of got to deal with it. The key is to try our best not to hit him very often. Okay, there's our 3 stacks gone again. So while he's low stacks like this, I'm going to throw some more damage on this stasis field, just trying to kill it as fast as we can. Let's go with a full swarm over there just to get some damage out. And an important note is he will suck whichever one is lowest. So if we were to get him to 50% health right now, he would suck this one, which is not one that we want him to get. We want him to get this one, and only that one, because he gets tougher to beat with each one he sucks up. So now that one's gone. So we're doing good. It is Revan's turn, and there is a taunt, but because it's Revan, Revan can ignore taunt. So we'll just go on over here. Honestly, we're going to go for this guy just so he's the weakest. Just so that way if we do accidentally get him into 50% health, we're fine. Okay. Don't ever use this far one either, because this is another cop-out if you're panicking. Like, if he's taunting, you can use this to use an ability so you don't hit him while he's taunting. Because the more you hit him, the more you're going to have problems in this fight. Okay, we're going to call him into assist, finish off that droid, keep our stacks low. Because our stacks are low right now, we're just going to go in for this guy. We do want to drag this out as much as we can. We don't want to kill off these stasis fields too fast. And the reason for that is because we need to layer on as many crits as we can with Zalbar. We want 3 to 4 armor shreds before we go full in on Malak. Let's go all in on this guy and just finish him off if possible. Close, but not quite. Okay, we got our thing again, so we're going to try and crit Malak. Make sure you're targeting Malak. Okay, we got the second armor shred. Perfect. Keep working on this one just to make sure that it's low. Okay, so right here is one of those panic button moments. You're looking at him and you're like, oh crap, he has taunt. I don't want to deal damage to him. You hit this, you don't have to deal damage to him. Unfortunately, right here, we do have a conundrum. I always use this one, personally. But it's because he doesn't get taunt back at all. So yeah, we don't need our panic button anymore, so we're not going to hit his final ability. He's getting up there, so I should have chosen him, but it's fine. We're doing fine. Okay, let's keep getting Zalbar turns. Keep working. Unfortunately, we're stuck behind taunt for a second. Luckily, we can kind of escape that right now by using this. Okay, his taunt's gone. Now we're right back into just the same kind of stuff. We're going to try and work down his stacks for a bit, just to kind of keep him under wraps. So we'll hit that one. And we'll keep going on this one, just to try to, yeah, get his stacks down just a wee bit. Okay, now we're going to keep working. Droids are back, so we can work on that, but this guy is the weakest right now, and so we don't want him sucking him up, and so we're going to just finish him off as fast as we can. He taunts every time we get rid of one of those, so you do have to be careful, but luckily we got Revan coming in, we got our panic buttons ready, we're doing solid. We got one more turn until Zalbar gets another crit. So let's just keep working on these little guys, see if we can't get ourselves some stacks low, because if he ever gets close to those 30 stacks, it's going to be rough. And you want him pretty low in stacks at any given moment. So here's another panic button moment. We're going to hit that. We're good. Okay. Honestly, his stacks are low. Let's get a little bit more damage on this guy, just because I want to make sure that that one doesn't get sucked up. Okay, we do need to get that crit again. So, get another crit. We got 3 stacks of armor shred. At this point, we're getting close to 50% health, so we're going to have to be increasingly careful to make sure that we don't accidentally get him down there. But at this moment, we have it set up where he's going to take that one. So, currently, we are doing fairly well for this. Okay. We're going to attempt to take out this one. Hopefully we don't accidentally trigger him. Sometimes you will. Sometimes he'll taunt and you're forced to hit him and he'll hit that 50% right when you don't want him to. Come on. One more solid hit. One more solid hit. That's all I need is one more solid hit and that one's gone. Okay, we got a taunt, but we also got Revan. So honestly, that is perfect RNG right there. Sweet. Okay, we're still at 3. He's taunting for one more turn. We're going to use our panic button on whoever needs it. We want to keep Zalbar alive, so we'll use it on him. Okay, we are now good to just focus on droids and make sure they go down. I'm honestly going to save that, actually. Let's try and get one more armor shred before we're forced to take him out. But we are getting to a point where we kind of need to hurry, because we won't be able to keep up fully with these droids unless we're very, very lucky. Okay, we're doing good. We just need one more turn. I'm going to save all of my abilities for this upcoming thing because we're going to start focusing on Malak here pretty soon. Let's just go basic there. Let's pass this over to you. Okay, all we need is a turn on Zalbar, and we're going to start working on Malak. Let's use our panic button. Okay, here's our crit. We're at 4 stacks now. Okay, we're going to go all in on Malak. See how we're doing solid damage now that we have a couple armor shreds on him? So we're just going to keep working on him. Right here, he's going to get that. So now he has crit immunity. So we can full on work on him without fear of fear. There's still a couple ways we can get fear, but it's much less. We can just kind of keep going with no fear of fear. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Or in this case, the lack of. So we'll pass it to her. Keep it going. Yeah, he'll pull for some people. But as long as you kind of keep him low, you shouldn't have too many problems. Honestly, we're just going to basic here. Keep going. Keep working. We're almost there. And there it is. And just like that, you've beaten the lightside Malak event, which honestly is the hard one. This one is actually the hard one because it requires you know, trust the system, have enough damage to go around, keep the stacks low. And so that is how you do the lightside one. That is the scary one. But if you have a Relic Jedi Knight Revan, you should have zero problems with this with a little bit of good modding on Jedi Knight Revan and without mods on basically anyone else. I mean, you saw my Zalbar mods, 170 speed, like, I don't have good mods on these guys. This one, I do apologize, all my requirements are much higher. I recently geared up Canderous because of the Mandalorians. You know, Karth came from a Lightspeed bundle, and then I, of course, did Bastila. But when I did this originally, I did it all at Gear 12, except for we have HK right here. I had him at Gear 11. So this was all Gear 12 when I did this, and it's super easy, honestly. I will suggest you put as much speed. It's going to be 261 as your base speed again, but put as much speed as you can on Darth Revan. He's just great to have speed on. Get some really good speed mods for him. Get him over 300 speed, just in general, for when you're using him in PvP. But at least over 261 speed. The rest of these guys, I didn't have great mods on. Bastila, let's see where she's at right now. She's at 260. I had her at 230 when I originally did the event. HK, I honestly haven't modded since and haven't touched his mods, so you can see there, yeah, there's a 7 speed on HK right now. So, like, he's literally someone I haven't modded in years. So, really nothing special here whatsoever. The entirety of everything is Darth Revan in this tier. That is all that this tier is Darth Revan. If you have a Gear 12 Darth Revan, great. If you have a Relic Darth Revan, this will be a breeze. You could have a Relic 1 Darth Revan and it'll still help. Okay, same thing as before, same mechanics, except we have a bonus mechanic, which this is Ferocity. For each stack of Ferocity, you'll get 15% defense and tenacity per stack, and then plus 8% offense and potency per stack. Can't be copied. This event, we're going to start working on the droids, just like before, and we will see something fun happen in this tier. So we'll just keep working on these droids, avoiding all AoEs. Okay, and you see right there we killed one. We now have an extra 3 stacks of Ferocity that are locked on. They will not go away. And so instead of trying to layer armor shreds, instead we're just trying to layer this Ferocity, which just comes from killing the droids and killing the side guys. And so you're trying to get between 30 and 40 stacks of Ferocity. If you're at Gear 12, you definitely should try to shoot for 40. Honestly, if you're at Relic levels, you could probably shoot for 20 and still pull this off. Same kind of idea, you want to try and get him to suck down this captive Jedi. But regardless, you just kind of go in on the droids and keep it going. This one takes much less time. The other one takes like 15 minutes per attempt. This one, you know, takes 5. Especially with a Relic Darth Revan. He's just a powerhouse of damage, and each time you guys kill someone, he will up his damage overall. And so it'll get to a point where he'll start one-tapping the droids. So you can see we're already up to 9 stacks, so we're just going to keep going on that. Obviously, he's still immune to fear. Okay, we're out of droids. We'll get this guy down just a little bit, just to make sure that he gets sucked down if they do suck down. So yeah, we're already up to 15 stacks. At this point, we got a taunt on. Might as well hit that AoE, do a little damage to everyone. Okay, back to not using AoEs. Okay, we're up to 18 stacks. Doing solid, doing solid. Okay, that one's plenty hurt. Let's try to kill another one, just so that way we have a another one down. Okay. As you can see, really easy to keep his stacks down of enraged. Really easy to kind of just keep going with this one. It's literally just about getting those stacks on Darth Revan, so it's a lot less nuanced than the light side one. Honestly, this is the one I finished first, and then I went to the light side one, and I was like, wow, why is this so incredibly hard? So we'll kill off that Captain Jedi, you know. Luckily, we had a buff immunity on him, so he didn't even taunt, but either way, we would have been fine in that case. I mean, he hit us with the, you know, the taunt, so we're going to have to AoE here just to make sure we're not doing too much damage. These AoEs almost always do less damage than straight up hits. Even so, Darth Revan's already pumped himself so much that brought him dangerously close, so we do got to be careful. But hopefully we can get this guy out. Okay. Let's keep working on these guys because, you know, they're here. And as you can see, we're already at like the 40 stacks that we need. So I'm just going to go all in on Malak at this point. We'll get him to suck up that guy, so now he has crit hit immunity, so now we won't get fear. And so instead we can just go all in on him. Her last ability won't do anything because, you know, can't get fear. Because he has corrupted battle notation, we'll get a double tap. And just like that, we're basically done, guys. Like, that's it. So, super, super easy for the dark side tier. The light side tier is where all the nuance comes in. But yeah, and there you go. You now have your 5-star Malak. I hope you had your Mark 1, your Get 1 and your Raid 2 currency saved up, so that way you can get a 7-star Malak ASAP, because that's genuinely what you need. Malak is good at 5 stars, but you need him at 7 stars as soon as possible. There's not a 5-star or 3-star viability in most things in this game. Hopefully that helps you guys out. I did forget to go over the Zetas for the dark side, so we will go over the Zetas real quick. It's helpful to have her Zeta, but it's not necessary at all for this tier. None of the Zetas on any of the characters are necessary. I will always suggest all of this guy's Zetas because they're all great. But I will go through and just check if any of them are actually necessary. Honestly, I would say none of these are technically necessary. This Omega is super, super nice, but that's for PvP. Honestly, you could do this with level 7 abilities across the board on Darth Revan. I think you'd be fine. I don't think any of these are truly necessary for this this overall event. Are the Zetas necessary in general? Absolutely. You definitely need this one. Like, this is very, very helpful for countering a lot of stuff. As well as this one is super, super helpful for stopping counters, and this is also super helpful. So all 3 of his Zetas are super, super important, but none of them are important for this. And so no Zetas for Darth Revan needed. 2 Zetas required for Jedi Knight Revan if you're at Gear 12. I'd say 1 Zeta if not. Use the leadership ability Zeta because it's super, super helpful for this. Gives you a little boost in damage. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section, and I'll be happy to ask them.